Hello, bonjour, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Katie Gray, and I am the project manager here at the World Trade Centre Winnipeg. I would like to begin today by respectfully acknowledging that this webinar is coming to you from Treaty 1 territory, traditional territory of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples, and on the national homeland of the Red River Métis. So thank you all for joining our What It Takes to be an Entrepreneur webinar, which will be presented by Paul Keefe. Paul is a business advisor with the World Trade Centre Winnipeg, once working as a personal trainer and later starting his own consulting business. He's developed an ability to foster deep relationships, help individuals create clear goals and objectives, and offer them support every step of the way to seeing their ultimate success. Paul also possesses direct business knowledge and experience from starting his own company here in Manitoba. So welcome, Paul.
Thank you so much, Katie. Thank you for joining today's session, everyone. If you're here, you might already be an entrepreneur looking for some additional insights, or maybe there's a business idea keeping you up late at night and you're curious to know if entrepreneurship is for you or not. In either case, taking the time to learn more about this path will be very beneficial for you in the long run. And know that myself and the World Trade Centre Winnipeg team, we're all here to support you on your venture. So 1 second here, try to get the slides going. So for today's session, we're going to cover all things entrepreneurship. We're going to get tools and resources for starting a business, tips for becoming a successful entrepreneur, leadership and management insights. And at the end of the session, I'll share a few great resources to help you on your entrepreneurial journey. We'll also have time for questions at the end, as Katie had mentioned. And after this webinar, you'll feel confident in knowing whether the path of entrepreneurship is for you or not. And if it is, you'll have valuable insights on how to best move forward. And if not, all good. Entrepreneurship, it's not for everyone. And consciously choosing to not pursue this path doesn't somehow make you wrong or not ambitious enough. By having adequate self awareness and understanding of the potential risks, you can save yourself a lot of sweat, tears, and money. So let's dive in. So there are advantages and disadvantages with entrepreneurship. Working from our laptops on a beach in Mexico with a daiquiri in hand is, it's the image that's sold to us, but it's far from reality. Sure, it can happen, or like really any dream we have for a business, but it's not always going to be smooth sailing. It's important to highlight both the good aspects as well as the bad, so you have a better sense of the road ahead. So let's start with some of the disadvantages first. Well, as you know, it's going to be long hours. In the beginning stages of your business, you might find that you're going to be working much more than a typical 9 to 5. And this is why setting work boundaries is so important, especially if you got a family to care for and other obligations. You'll need to develop your priority management skills if you wish to have a long and fruitful career as an entrepreneur. There's your risk of investment. So you're going to be pouring a lot of time, effort, and capital into your business to get it going. And this is risky not only from a monetary standpoint, but socially, how it impacts your life with friends and family, for example, but also your mental health. Entrepreneurship is extremely taxing mentally, as you'll be dealing with lots of competing demands and striving for high expectations you hold for yourself, and as well as from the ones that you believe others hold you to. This area in particular, mental health within entrepreneurship, it does not get enough attention. If you're starting a business, please seek support from friends, family, counseling, or other mental health care professionals. It's good practice to begin seeking support before you think you need it. Don't wait until there's a crisis. Fluctuating or inconsistent income. It's very important to understand that your income will vary throughout your business's life. You need to ensure you're paying yourself enough to live, as well as making sure there's enough going into the business to hold up its successful operations. So before getting into business, having a reserve fund is incredibly important. Anywhere from 3 to 6 months of savings to cover your bills and unforeseen events can help mitigate some of the financial risk. This is all about having a solid financial foundation to build from. If something bad happens and requires extra cash, you won't be falling backwards and leaning on high interest credit cards or your line of credit. Next, we got paperwork, and yes, there's going to be documents and forms to fill out over the course of your business's life, and the amount can depend on what you're doing, the business structure itself, and how much of the business operations you're taking on yourself. For those that use TurboTax for their personal incomes, you should consider investing in an accountant. This is one expense that you really need to view as an investment. Among many benefits, a good accountant will help you leverage like tax credits and lessen your chances of being audited. So that's a good thing. Hard work. Duh. You know that already. Hard work is a given. But this is why it's about working smart and building systems to streamline your business operations. So you're not putting so much effort into tasks that could otherwise be automated, delegated, or eliminated. If you're a solopreneur and service-based worker like a consultant, that can mean leveraging SaaS tools, which is known as software as a service, to aid in processes like scheduling meetings, easily collecting payments, or even subcontracting some tasks. There's the potential failure. So most businesses fail in their first year of business, and as many as 50% will cease to be in operations for their fifth birthday. So it's important to realize that the term fail can mean many things. Failure could be something terrible, such as illegal activity taking place within your business and being shut down. It can mean bankruptcy, maybe some unexpected events that affected your industry or the world. Looking at you, COVID, caused business to slow down to a halt. Or maybe it was something you didn't fully understand, but now you've learned a new lesson which you can take on to your next venture. And for this instance, I really like the acronym FAIL as in first attempt in learning. So no matter what, there are risks and possible failure. But hopefully after today's webinar, you'll feel more confident in knowing how to better mitigate these risks. So why get into entrepreneurship? What are a few of the advantages? Well, you get to do what you love, which is awesome. Following your passion can be a great source of joy and a major boost to your well-being. While the saying goes, do what you love and you'll never work a day for the rest of your life. Sounds good. The truth of the matter is it's still work, and it's hard work, and it's unrelenting work. But when you're tapping into that energy source of passion, it could feel like it's not really work in the traditional sense because you're so engaged and interested in what you're doing. Your energy isn't being robbed from a soul-sucking job. And this is the difference between really what I like to come up with three perspectives of work as a job, a career, or a calling. And how you view your work has a direct impact on your well-being. A job is just something to pay the bills, probably with little to no sense of purpose. A career is something that allows you to build skills while contributing to something bigger. While a calling is something that you probably feel almost like you're summoned to do. You're being pulled, drawn towards it. And almost because it's what you're meant to do. And entrepreneurs tend to lean towards their calling. So you get to fulfill your dream or dreams, maybe. Nothing feels as good as setting a goal and then following the necessary steps to achieve it. This process can become addicting, and you're probably the type of person who has great ambition. And this is why it's important to keep your head in the clouds and feet on the ground. Just a little reminder I like to have. Entrepreneurship is about achieving big dreams, but it's also about executing and taking action in order to achieve these dreams. Doing this builds an immense sense of pride, humility, and dedication also. And when you reach what you set out for, and you could do so on your own terms, well, there's nothing quite as empowering as that. You get to be your own boss. So speaking of your own terms, I bet you're probably someone who doesn't do well with being told what to do day in, day out. Entrepreneurs get to lead on their own terms. And yes, it can be to a fault as they have stubborn tendencies, which can be both positive and a negative trait. But this sense of control is incredibly enticing for a business owner. Not control in the like micromanagement sense, but control in being able to set a goal and a path forward based on their own interests, not those of someone else. You'll get to fill a void in the market. So sometimes you just sit there and wonder, why doesn't this or that exist? Or what about all these people over there? They're totally underserved. Well, with that sort of curiosity, you can be the person to fill these gaps, which is beneficial for our communities. And this leads to making an impact. If there's one thing that an entrepreneur wants to do, it's to make an impact. The most successful entrepreneurs tend to be the ones that focus on impact over income. And ironically, they tend to be the ones that start to bring in a good source of income by focusing on and having an impact, by solving problems and providing solutions and value. People will take notice. And when your intentions are in the right place and you work hard at making other people's lives easier by removing pains or adding gains, your presence will be positively felt. And of course, earn greater income. So making an impact is the most important thing, but making a good impact or income, it's also more important, even though it kind of feels like a taboo topic these days. In Canada, in 2021, we've witnessed inflation rates around 6% or so. And back in the summer, I think it was up to around 8%. People who lost their jobs or were already out of work suffered immensely. And for those who thankfully still had work through the pandemic, they still felt this impact at the grocery store, at the fuel pump, and well, practically everywhere. Putting some money in a savings account was just no longer enough. So we began to see a spike in the number of small businesses and side hustles to help bring in enough to pay the bills. Well, even before the pandemic, this was still a benefit, making an income, a good income. Being able to bring in a couple extra $100 a month, it can be the difference between just scraping by to finally being able to pay off debts and invest consistently. And if side hustles aren't enough and you want to go all in on your business, your ceiling and income potential is much higher than it would be with a typical employer. So, why do businesses fail? Well, there are many reasons a business can fail, but I'll list out a few common ones here. So, first off, no market demand for your product or service. You must make sure you do your market research and to create a sound business plan. Far too many people get into business just because they are passionate about something without a clear understanding of the market, their customers, potential risks, and knowing the competitive landscape. Lack of management skills. So being an entrepreneur requires solid management skills, even if you're working on your own. Priority management is a huge one for these individuals. But how your business operates and is strategized and is executed, these are all incredibly important. Are you a clear communicator and effective collaborator? Do you lead by coaching or micromanaging? Do you manage expectations and strategize accordingly? Have you created policies and procedures for various aspects of your business so others can do the work efficiently and effectively? Do you focus on continued education and upskilling to stay competitive and really maximize the value for your customers? Can you effectively automate, delegate, and eliminate tasks so your team optimizes their productivity? So lots of things to consider in the management skill realm. No understanding of finances. So you don't need to have a degree in finance to practice the fundamentals of good financial literacy in your business. Are you protecting yourself with a emergency or reserve fund? Do you fully know your income, budget, and cash flow for the months ahead? Are you able to manage your fixed and variable costs well? Is your debt locked in with a competitive interest rate? And do you have a strategy and action plan for paying it off. So just the basics will go a long way for you. Next, we got poor planning. So not having a business plan leads to many businesses failing simply because they didn't take the time to highlight potential risks and create contingency plans to address them. So you want to make sure that you establish a good business plan. So some advice for success to get you started here. So this formula here, it's really just a quick way to get you thinking about what it takes to achieve business success. So passion plus skill plus demand equals success or potential success. You need all three of these elements to increase your chances of success. Remove a single piece and the chances plummet exponentially. So passion. Another word I could bundle here is purpose. Um, like, do you inherently love what you're doing? Do you feel deeply compelled to make an impact? Maybe not as epic as making a dent in the universe, like Steve Jobs said, but to simply just make the lives of those around you better. Does it bring you energy or does it suck the very life force out of you? Entrepreneurship, it's a path of great opportunity, but one filled with endless obstacles as well. You need to tap into something that's going to allow you to stay resilient. And that force is your mindset and passion. Now, you can't just have passion alone. There's a lot of hype around this element, but it requires a couple other ingredients to make your business thrive. So you've got your skill. Are you actually good at what you do? Is there quality? You can't market your way out of a bad service or product. It might work fine in the short term, but the businesses that succeed in the long run, they're the ones that can get people talking about them. Word of mouth is powerful. When it comes to skill, that doesn't mean you must know how to do everything. Rather, it's about knowing where your strengths lie and really to seek support from those business to succeed. Other skills and traits you need to possess are being action oriented, being creative, possessing a tolerance for stress, and high determination. And then you got demand. Is there a market need? Do people actually want what you're offering? How do you know? Is this market growing or shrinking? What's happening to the competition in the industry? Is there a gap you can fill? What pain are you alleviating? What gain are you providing? Now, it's important to note that you can have a very high demand for your product or service, but if you don't possess the passion or right skill to execute, again, the chance of success goes down drastically. And then, you get these three elements and it equals success, but you'll notice I've got the asterisk there, which I put for a reason. No success is guaranteed, obviously, but by focusing on these three levers, you greatly increase your chances of success. And that's all you can do. And also, how we each define success might be different. One person may dream of making a multi-million dollar per year business and to sell later for a big payday. And another might just want a side hustle and that makes an impact, brings them joy, and can help pay some extra expenses around the house or to put towards savings and long-term investments. So just some general advice for you. So start with why. We'll start at the beginning here. So Simon Sinek popularized this philosophy of starting with why. He wrote this book on it, and it's awesome. He's got a great TED Talk you should check out on YouTube. But the idea here is that by starting with why, your deeper sense of purpose, you are more likely to succeed. And the reason being is that you'll have meaning in what you do, and every action will be in light of your bigger mission. And you'll be much more likely to stick with the journey when things go bad. Serial entrepreneur and investor Peter Diamandis, he framed this concept in a different way. He called it your massively transformative purpose, or your MTP. You'll know you're pursuing the right path if you're inherently excited to do what it is you need to do. So what problems need solving that you're excited to dive into solving? You can also apply this start with why thinking to your own product and service. People don't necessarily just buy what you offer, they buy the why behind it. People buy the stories behind products and services and the hopeful future and better version of themselves. They don't just buy features. Um, you could think Apple, they did this ingeniously years ago when marketing their iPod. They didn't just list all these technical features of the iPod. They simply said 1,000 songs in your pocket. And that effectively made you and your CD player with a case of CDs falling over the place look like a dinosaur. um, Volkswagen ads are good at this as well. Rather than telling you exactly how much legroom their vehicle has, an ad showed a busy mom getting out of the driver's seat, opening the rear door, and sliding her kid all the way back, rendering her back of the seat kicking useless. So busy parents relate to this situation more than 37 inches of legroom. Next, you got defining success. So too many people get their definitions of success confused with others. Living in a digital age with social media, you've got access to so many different worldviews that it's hard to know your own true calling and interests. If you aren't careful in defining success in your own terms, you're going to be constantly comparing yourself to others, and that's a losing battle. Do you want a side hustle? Are you looking to become a six-figure solopreneur? Do you want a global enterprise with over 500 employees? Is it going to be a product or service? Do you want a tech-based business like an app, an e-commerce store, or a storefront at your local mall? Um, are you looking to solve a massive problem like, solving sustainable agriculture, leveraging your knowledge of technology, or are you just a local hairstylist in rural Manitoba that noticed there isn't a good salon within your community? You have to figure out how you want your business to look. Next, you got the 1% better mindset. So starting a business is hard work. Keeping the business going, that's even harder. Start small and focus on continuous improvement rather than striving for perfection. You got to break your business steps down into manageable goals. For example, what do you need or want to achieve this month in your business? Then what do you need to do this week to move you closer to that goal? And then finally, what's one thing you can do today to get you moving forward? Maybe it's calling the World Trade Center for help. Next, you've got who, not how. This is an awesome philosophy I learned from the great business coach, Dan Sullivan. And it's all about building the right team of people around you to support your journey. One thing business owners are great at is trying to do everything in their business. And you're probably resourceful by nature. I get it. But wearing many hats, that's a surefire way of burning out. You need to learn to focus on your strengths and outsource your weaknesses. There's a great African proverb: those who wish to go fast go alone, and those who wish to go far, they go together. So when you focus on asking yourself, who can help me, rather than how can I do this, you move from linear thinking to exponential thinking. You free up your internal resources and energy to things that you do well, and then allow others to take on tasks which they're great at. And remember, a rising tide raises all ships. The network you build is powerful. Next up, you have to be customer centric. You must be able to put yourself in your customer's shoes, understanding their habits, purchasing behaviors, their problems, and more. If you spend a lot of time listening to your customers, you're going to gain valuable insights to improve your products and services. And you'll also show them that you care. A great quote I like is, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And then you got continued education. So a last tip for you should go without saying: you have to be committed to ongoing learning. You need to be relentlessly curious in all aspects of your business. Curiosity in your customers' problems and needs, curiosity improving your operational activities, curiosity in understanding industry trends, and more. If you stop learning, your business will inevitably stop growing. You must keep yourself educated if you want to stay competitive. So you might be wondering, well, how do I actually start a business? So I wanted to make sure to give you some practical steps in today's webinar, in addition to all the heady conceptual stuff. So the process of registering a business in Manitoba it's pretty straightforward. The challenge usually lies in really knowing the best business structure for you, choosing the right name, and ensuring you've got an understanding of the necessary permits, regulations, and taxes. So if you plan on owning and operating a business within Manitoba, please call us at the World Trade Centre Winnipeg or submit a business information request online so we can help you navigate all of these areas. And we can offer you information and resources for how to reserve a name and register your business, choosing the right business structure for you, like a sole proprietor, partnership, corporation, getting you linked up with good funding options or potential grants available, networking opportunities, secondary market research, trade advising for exporting, and much more. But so before scrambling to reserve your business name and registering the business completely, you need to be certain that your business idea it's viable. So have you completed an industry analysis? You must do your market research. And I really can't stress enough how important it is to research the market viability of your business, knowing who your ideal customer, who they are, and the overall trend of the industry, the potential competitors out there. This will all lead to a greater chance of success. And I'll be sharing some more on this on the coming slides. Um, what are your financial projections like? You need a clear understanding of your expenses and cash flow. Got to know your break-even point. This is especially important when it comes to getting access to capital from a lender. You might not require funding right off the bat, but you might later. So incorporate this in your research early on. And did you create a business plan? A business plan, it's going to help you form a clear understanding of your business's viability, greatly increase your chances of securing funding from a lender, and help you make better decisions based on a sound strategy. Uh, a business plan, it's an ever-evolving document that supports your business in many key areas. It helps new business and startups as well as businesses already in existence. If you need help with your business plan, we've actually got our flagship business planning program starting up in February, which I'll share more info on near the end of today's session. So how do you want your business structure to look? Well, there are many possible options, and deciding the right one comes down to understanding your industry and customer needs, your skill set, your appetite for risk, your business objectives and goals, and many other possible variables. And this might not seem like an important detail, but you do not want to overlook this. It can be the difference with you still being in business 10 years from now or within the next year. For example, you might want to start a coffee business, but realize to begin from scratch could prove to be really risky. You've assessed your own goals, skill set, and risk tolerance, and decide that you're not looking to reinvent the wheel completely. And you know there's a successful coffee shop in your neighborhood. So you could just try to buy it if they're selling. And in this way, you'd have an established customer base, business procedures, suppliers, and other important operational considerations already in place. If you had tried to start a business brand new without assessing your own needs, strength, risk tolerances, and the current market, you might give up as the stress in the beginning stages of business begins to build up. So self-awareness is key. And really here, just for your quick reference on how easy it is to register a business in Manitoba, and this will be hyperlinked here. You just register an account with the company's office. You've got access to a business names database, so you can reserve your business name, make sure there's not one that has a similar name out there, and that you can get the green light to go and register your business if it's approved, choosing your business structure. So it's very straightforward. And again, if you have any questions about that, you can contact me and I'll help you out in that process. Next, you got to know your industry. It's very important to have a deep understanding in this. Finding the right associations, networking groups, and key partners can be a critical difference in the chances of success for your business. Along with knowing the strategic partners within your own industry to accelerate your business, you must also look at the industry as a whole. In what direction is your target industry and market headed? Who are your competitors? What sort of industry threats and opportunities are there? So market research. So this is what's going to help you out here, and it can assist you in validating your business idea, find opportunities, mitigate risk, and strengthen your business plan. And there are various tools you can leverage to aid in the research process. So first, you've got a pestle analysis, and this analyzes possible external threats in 6 key areas: political, economic, social, technological, environmental, and legal. Next, there's competitors analysis, and this helps you identify your competition and how they differentiate themselves, their location, their quality of their customer service, the quality of their products, what's their pricing strategy, their marketing strategy, brand positioning, etc. Porter's 5 forces. This is a great framework used to assess the 5 competitive forces that can impact your business and industry. It's competition, new entrants to the industry, your power of suppliers, power of customers, and the threat of substitute products coming in. And then there's a SWOT analysis, and this helps to identify your business's strengths and weaknesses. And these tend to be the internal factors at play, and opportunities and threats, which tend to be the external factors. And then you've got primary and secondary market research. So primary market research is collecting information directly from people in your target market. So this could be like you're doing interviews, focus groups, surveys. Yourself, along with external market research experts, can help with this. And then there's secondary market research, and this is collecting already published information about your target market. So things like industry overviews, competitors lists, demographic reports, and more. And you could reach out to us at the World Trade Centre Winnipeg for support on your secondary market research, which is great. Do your research to find any possible associations within your respective industry. Associations, these are great resources to build your network, gain deeper knowledge of your industry, and to accelerate your business growth. Chambers of commerce. So there's over 60 chambers of commerce within Manitoba. So be sure to check them out for great networking and business development opportunities. They regularly put on training workshops, host networking events, could have benefit programs that you can use, and more. Some even lesser known perks, such as the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce, has a document certification program. So as long as you can meet particular requirements, some of these documents are certificates of origin, visa applications, and agent and start meeting regularly. Don't leave your networking to chance. So it's very important to continuously network. Sector partners. So finding key sector partners is another great way to further develop your business's operations. They regularly offer training sessions, offer support and guidance around industry rules and regulations, and can help you get connected with mentors and others in your industry. And I got a few examples here, and you'll be able to click through these on once you get the slideshow. Next, I want to share some resources to support you on your journey of entrepreneurship. So if you attended my last webinar on the importance of a business plan, you'll know just how imperative the planning process is to your business's success. If you're ready to take the next steps on your entrepreneurial journey, our business planning program is a great next step. You'll gain deep understanding of the key components of a business plan, helpful workbooks and templates, and expert support to help you in the creation of your business plan. The program, it's all online. It's expert-led 7-week program designed to help you create, again, that comprehensive business plan. And it starts up February 7th, 2023. Also to note, it's virtual. So this allows it to be accessible for all Manitobans. And if you can't make the winter session, we offer it 3 times a year. So in the winter, spring, and fall, and all at the low cost of $195 plus GST. So it's a great program. Highly recommend that you get signed up for that. All the links here that I'll show next are going to be hyperlinks. When you get the slideshows, you'll be able to click on these. So another great resource here is CDM. Economic Development Council for Manitoba Bilingual Municipalities. This is an association that offers a wide range of business support and consulting services for the Francophone community. They can also help with advising and financing, as long as the business belongs to at least one or more Francophones who own at least 50% interest in the business, and it operates in Manitoba, and they have already explored other methods to obtain financial support. Next is Community Futures. So there are 16 community future organizations throughout northern and rural Manitoba. They help strengthen rural economies by enabling entrepreneurship and assisting in community economic development. They can help with community economic strategy, providing business and market information, offering business loans up to $150,000, as well as for entrepreneurs with disabilities. Futurepreneur. This is a great national nonprofit organization that provides financing, mentoring, and support tools to business owners aged 18 to 39. They have an awesome online interactive business plan writer designed to help simplify the business planning process. So it's another great tool I highly recommend. BDC, this is an excellent resource for all things entrepreneurship, financing, advisory services, resources, and more. They have an entrepreneur's toolkit, which includes various resources to help you on your business journey. And another really cool resource they have is their entrepreneurial potential self-assessment. And this is a quiz you can use to quickly assess your potential as an entrepreneur. And I think there are about like 50 questions you can rank from a scale of either totally disagreeing with to totally agreeing with. Questions like, I always try to learn lessons from my failures, or I prefer using the good old ways of doing things. I don't like to influence others, and I manage my stress well in ambiguous and uncertain situations. So it's a great quiz. Highly recommend that you go do that after this session. Next, we've got RMED. This is an organization dedicated to improving, supporting, and increasing success for the economic development in rural Manitoba. And they provide advising, strategy and planning, networking, as well as various database services. So highly encourage you to check them out. North Forge. North Forge is an incubator and community for entrepreneurs in Manitoba's science, technology, and advanced manufacturing sectors. They offer various programs depending on the stage of business you're in, networking and mentoring opportunities, access to their co-working space, and North America's largest fabrication facility, which is located in Winnipeg's Exchange District. So very cool. Next, we got Startup TNT. This is a community that connects entrepreneurs, investors, innovators, and startup supporters every week to collaborate and build great companies. They work with local angel groups, seed funds, and early stage VC funds to educate new and potential investors. From weekly happy hour community events to their TNT investment summits, they provide resources for entrepreneurs and investors to connect, build companies, and invest in local startups. So fantastic resource. There's the Women's Enterprise Center, a tremendous resource for women looking to start or expand their business. They provide business advisory services, training, and financing, and they also offer a wide variety of events, networking and mentorship opportunities, and much more. Then we've got the YMCA Self-Employment Training Program. So this is really cool. Not many people know about this. Most people, when they think YMCA, they just think the gym. But this is an online program for unemployed or underemployed individuals on EI to help them turn a great business idea into a successful self-employment. It's a 3-phase program lasting about a full year, from setting up and operating a business to completing a business plan, to the actual launching and operation of the business itself. Participants will learn everything they need to create a sustainable business to replace their employment insurance benefits. There are strict eligibility requirements, and moving through the program requires a successful completion of each phase. So just to note, I highly encourage you to check this program out if this is applicable to you, and review the requirements if you are in this position. And last but not least, I keep mentioning business planning. It can be daunting. The business model canvas is a great tool you can use just to get your initial ideas out onto paper and to start that proactive planning process for your business. So great tools and resources here. Again, they'll all be hyperlinked so you can click through them once you get the slideshow. Next, we've got some awesome webinars coming up. So we've got tax help for small businesses from the CRA webinar. It's a free webinar, takes place on January 25th next year from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And this seminar, it's facilitated by the CRA professionals and will help you learn about business tax deductions, common tax errors, helpful tools and services offered by the CRA, general bookkeeping concepts and best practices. Next, we've got an overview of the retail sales tax. Again, another free webinar takes place on February 8th during the lunch hour. Attendees are going to learn how retail sales tax applies to goods and services, who should register for a retail sales tax number, and common RST errors businesses make and how they can be avoided. Some previous webinars you can go back and watch. We've got an introduction to market research. So our market research analyst, Matilda, she actually did a great 30-minute presentation a few weeks ago all about market research. She did a fantastic job presenting all things market research, and you'll definitely come away with a better understanding of proper research for your business and how to go about doing it. Next, the importance of a business plan. I highly encourage you to check this webinar out. I did a couple weeks ago. That's going to be uploaded to our YouTube channel pretty soon. And again, we'll try to get that into the slideshow, but if not, just stay tuned for that to come. Business plan is going to help you prove feasibility for your business, make effective decisions based on a sound strategy, and potentially secure funding to support your business. This is something that's often overlooked, and it can make or break your chances of becoming a successful entrepreneur. Choosing a business structure. This is presented by our trade advisor, Alexander Lavoie. This webinar will review the types of business structures small business owners should consider, the advantages and disadvantages of each structure, and the factors you should consider in choosing the most appropriate option. Topics covered are the differences between corporations, sole proprietorships, and partnerships, the advantages and disadvantages of each structure, and you'll receive tips on how to choose which is the best one for you. And the next up, starting a business in Manitoba. So again, this is another one presented by Alexander, and the webinar covers just basic requirements you need to consider when starting your own business here in Manitoba. You're going to learn really just how to navigate all the available resources and services that are out there to help you succeed as an entrepreneur, types of business organizations and legal considerations, name registration, taxation, licensing requirements, financing options, and much more. And again, these are all hyperlinked. You'll be able to click on these. And in addition to these webinars, please check out our YouTube channel where we continuously upload great video content on a wide variety of business subjects. So yeah, I've laid out a lot of information here today, and the last thing I want you to do is to feel overwhelmed. So where do you go from here? I encourage you to focus on the direction you're headed, on the processes and actions that are really in your control. Too much of our time we spend focusing on our desired outcomes and dreams. That's just typical entrepreneurs. That's kind of live in our heads a lot. But by living in the future and seeing this massive journey ahead, it's easy to burn out and cease to take action. So instead of just focusing on your destination, keep that under consideration, but focus on the direction you're headed in. Focus on what you can do to move yourself closer to your goal today. Maybe you can start doing some market research, begin drafting out your business plan, check out one of the resources I shared, seek support from someone who's achieved business success, like a mentor or someone else. Talk to potential customers about your business idea. Go reserve your business name. Do a self-assessment for the type of business you wish to run and define your version of success. No matter where you start, just start small and keep moving in the right direction. And remember, just like I said earlier, 1% better every day. You might just find that what you dreamt in the beginning as your dream destination becomes something else. And this is a very common theme in most entrepreneurs' journeys. They started out with the intent of achieving one thing, focused on the direction they moved in, but due to changes in their industry, customer needs, and feedback, they course corrected and focused on doing something completely different. If they had just stayed locked into that original vision without being open-minded to the opportunity that was right in front of them, they might not have achieved that level of success. And if you don't know your exact next steps, you just still feel completely lost. Remember to seek support when you need it. Find a mentor, a group, or yes, reach out to us at the WTC for some guidance.